Is my trapdoor safe to shoot? First thing is, you should have seen, if you've seen my other videos, you should go read the books, understand what correct guns are, and study up on it. Know what you either have or what you're intending to buy. Make sure that the gun is either in original condition, or if it's been built from parts, much like this gun here. This is an 1873. It's got an 1873 barrel with the later sights on it, but the breech block is from a very early gun. It should have low serial numbers. And this gun also does not have serial numbers where they should be. I think I call this gun my Bannerman Special. If you go to my channel and see my review on the Bannerman Special 1873, I kind of explain the reasons why you call it that. The gun was assembled from parts. But a basic rule of thumb is, like on this one, you see there's play in the breech block when it's open. But when you close it down, there's no play. Any of these guns, if you have play when this breech block is locked, I kind of avoid this gun. Now, I did have an 1868 gun that it covered all the problems with a gun. What it was is the 1868 model and the 1870 model are different, but there were 1868 models that were built in 1870 and will have the date on the breech block. I had an 1868 with an 1870 breech block, which through the book you get the measurements, I can measure them. They are dimensionally different. In other words, that breech block did not fit. It was smaller than it should be. If I attempted to fire the gun, it could have had a catastrophic effect. Fortunately though, and this is another thing you must watch out for, the gun was demilitarized at one time. What is that? A lot of these weapons, once their service life was used, were turned into guns for ceremonial use, or they were rendered in a condition unable to be fired as either a drill rifle or a ceremonial gun. Okay? And I believe that gun had that done with it. They usually damage it, or they either plug the barrels with a steel rod or wood. I've heard some even have wood driven into the ends of the muzzles. And they're just, something's done to the gun to make it to where it won't fire. And I think this gun was a drill rifle. Somebody removed the crap in the barrel. The chamber was damaged. There was a gouge or something in the barrel where the metal was actually protruding into the bore, and if you tried to fire it, again. But fortunately, the chamber had damage to where you couldn't put a live round in. I was going to go and run a chamber reamer, try to clean it up, because it wasn't severely damaged. But fortunately, I found the other defect in the bore that, if I wasn't paying attention, could have had catastrophic results. So you got to kind of do more than just have it checked by a competent gunsmith and headspace and stuff like that. You really have to examine these guns closely to make sure you have a safe gun. The way to do that, read the books, make sure you got an original gun. You know, and if it's pitted real bad, it's not going to be good. And just because the gun on the outside, like this pristine looking example here of an 1873 I bought at auction, a lot of people say, oh, I bought this real nice condition gun, the bore looks alright. This rifle I paid the most for. This rifle I also thought was in good condition. It was listed in the auction as excellent bore, but then they put will clean the better. Problem is, somebody tried firing this gun. There's pitting up by the breech and towards the end of the muzzle, which is where when you fire with black powder, fouling accumulates, and what happened is it must have rusted. Somebody left it and didn't check it for a while, and there's pitting in two sections here, which is real bad. And then the person put hard cast bullets, fired the hell out of it, leaded the barrel up, got it all clogged up to where it slugged like 451 or something. And if I tried firing, if I just cleaned it like I did and didn't slug the bore and try to remove this buildup, if I tried firing this gun with a fairly full, say a full power black powder load, it may have blown the damn gun up. Okay? I mean, the bore was in that bad of a condition. The slug come out, looked like it was run across a cheese grater. There was no distinguishable rifling or anything. And somebody fired this gun repeatedly, couldn't hit none, and kept firing it, so, you know, it doesn't look like there's any damage, cracking to the receiver or bolt or anything, but somebody didn't know what they were doing, and really, you know, it's a shame, because this is a beautiful gun. And also, if you notice, in my disassembly videos, I'll mention how to remove this. Somebody took this apart, and because it's tightly fitted, they chipped the stock here on the trigger guard because they didn't know what they were doing. And there's around the lock plate little splinters and chips, which they tried ripping the lock off without using the proper disassembly techniques and damaged a fairly pristine condition stock. Okay, so there's safety factors. You should educate yourself on the gun, educate yourself on how to disassemble the gun. It's pretty simple, but there are things you can do that will damage the gun. All right, so you should get the information. A lot of it's common sense. If you have a gun that's heavily pitted, this is going to affect, if you're using lead bullets, you know, it's going to lead the barrel up. It's going to aid to letting the barrel up. And also an understanding of the barrel dimensions and what type of ammo you're going to use are also a safety feature. I'm going to do a separate video on black powder and smokeless and the pros and cons and the safety reasons involved in it. The biggest thing is usually with smokeless powder you're using a small charge, and the biggest safety feature is if you screw up in the reloading process and double charge, which because you're using such small amounts, you can actually double charge a smokeless powder case and not notice it, miss it by mistake. And that's where the main dangerous thing is a reloading mistake like that. So yeah, it's good to be educated on the guns, to understand if the gun is original or if it has parts modified and fitted that are post, you know, something done by somebody, either a surplus gun supplier or by an individual. You know, after 120 years, who knows? You know, but this gun here, like I said, it has been modified. It's not correct. Somebody assembled this from parts, but it does function and is fine. There's no safety issues with it, and it's functioning. I fired it and it works all right. I had no problems. So it's, even if you do have a parts gun, it is not a problem. It's just that if there's something there, or if the gun has any damage to the chamber area, if there are any holes drilled in the barrel, which was another way they used to deactivate this, this gun was rendered not to function or not to be fired. So you have to be careful of what you're doing, especially if you're building one from old parts. So take your time, use your head, check the gun out, understand, you know, what is right, what's been modified, and then again, like I said, common sense, condition. You know, heavy pitting and rusting and stuff is not good on any gun, okay? And you should be safe, and then we're going to head on to the next step of deciding how to shoot.